This is the third video in the citrus series. In the first one, we canned it in a water bath canner. Then it's salt preserved in the second video. And today we'll be making marmalade. Let's get started. So for the recipe, we'll be needing the peel and also the fruit itself. And to prep that, I'll just peel it and make some in thin slivers that are not very long. And then some in little chunks. When it's peeled, the Mayo lemons don't have a lot of the white pith on them. But if you use other lemons, try to get off as much as you can. Same for oranges. Of course, the seeds come out. And then with the lemon, I'll take this center strunk out. And I would do this with orange or grapefruit or anything else too. And I'll just cut them up in little chunks until I have the right amount. Everything is in the pot. I'm just adding the required amount of water and stir it up a little, and then we'll let this get to a simmer. It's simmering. We'll let this simmer for 5 minutes. Because there isn't a lot of liquid added, it's good to use a big pot, a wide bottom pot, so that it covers everything that's in there. And I stir it a couple times within those 5 minutes. And then it's time to take it off, let it cool down, and let this sit overnight. Then tomorrow we're ready to make jam. The pre-marmalade is out of the refrigerator, and I put it in a jar because we have to measure it so we know how much sugar we need for it. This happens to be 3 cups back in the pot. You want to work in smaller batches, this kind of size for jam, because big batches just can mess it up because of the sugar and the temperature. And now we need to get this heated up and let it boil for a little bit until the rinds are cooked. They kind of get translucent. Right now they're still tough when you bite in. And this doesn't have the sugar in it yet. We cook them down without the sugar, and then we add the sugar later. And in the meantime, I have my lids in the water. These are Tadler lids. Of course, you can use your regular lids. Jam is always a super easy canning process. And then because I'm using the little jelly jars, I'm not using a big canning pot, so that's my regular pot. I don't have a trivet for it, so I'll just put the metal bands in it so the jars are not sitting on the bottom of the pot. And the rest is laid out here. And as soon as this cooks, when it's cooked through, we'll add the sugar, and then it's down to making the marmalade. So this cooked down enough for me to be happy with it. I don't want it too mushy, so I retain a little bit of bite in these. And now it's time to add the sugar. The ratio is 1:1 sugar to fruit, including the juice. That would have been 3 cups sugar, and I just can't stomach it. I'm not a sugar lover. So I use 2 cups, which may make the jam a little bit softer in the end, the marmalade, but I don't have a problem with that. And we'll get this to where the sugar is dissolved, and then we need it to come to a rapid boil and boil that. Yeah, that's the difficult part to explain. You don't want it to boil long enough to where it would have the gelling point yet. It still needs to be liquidy because this has its own pectin. But also you got to be really, really careful with citrus jam. Oh, there's a seed in there I need to get out. You have to be really careful with citrus jam to not burn it. This can happen really quickly, and then it's for the compost. It really makes it inedible. So this is simmering really good. Getting nice and bubbly. Maybe another minute or 2. You can tell when you start getting the drag, like it gets thicker to move the spoon in there. That's when it should be ready. Now we'll just have to jar it up, put it in the canner, take it out, and it'll last for years. Okay, I'm happy with this. This was about maybe 5 minutes or so on high. Ready to jar it up. The jars are out. They're super hot, and they have to be super hot. Now I don't have my thingy here. because this is super hot too because of all the sugar in it. Now we just fill them up to about the 1/4 inch from the rim. I probably don't even need a funnel for this. There we go. So I have more to go. I may not even have enough jars. So what, not good. What we'll do, because I always find it slightly irritating when I watch canning videos and people can everything up and then the video is over once the jar comes out of the canner, and I always wonder, what did it really look like? What was the texture? So of course I will crack a jar once they're all done and cooled off. Now we have to clean the rims. That's just some water, and I use a paper towel because, like I just spilled, this would be bad if it stays on. There's the spill. It already looks so beautiful. That color is just amazing. All nice and clean. It's time to put the lids on. These are my tattlers. They're super hot too. They need to boil for a while before they can be used. Unlike the other lids that are no longer recommended to be boiled. Band goes on. And ready to be put in the canner. All snug in the pot. It started to boil nicely just now. Now we set the time for 10 minutes and then that's all there's to it. I can take them out. And they're out. Now jellies, jams, marmalades, they like to sit for a day undisturbed, and that's what I do. I always put them on a baking tray so I can move them around. And then we'll crack it open and see how they did. Here it goes, the moment of truth. Pop this. Oh, that is so beautiful looking. Of course, with oranges, it'll be more orange. This is the lemons. Look at it. It's still runny. It has the fruit chunks in it. Perfect marmalade. And now the skins, they still have a little bit of a bite. They're not mushy or anything. This is great. Look at this one. So good. This is so good as a glaze for cooking or just really on a piece of toast. Oh, yummy. It's sweet, but it's not overpowering like so many jams and jellies, because it gives this hint of citrusy and a tiny tad of bitter. It's delicious. Considering how much they charge for citrus marmalades in the stores, this is well worth making. Awesome.